Nicole DeBauer and Anthony Montgomery. Before, sorry. Like I said, I even asked her before. Okay, and Anthony Montgomery. He is wide awake this morning and I love it.
Oh, you took that side, got you. Oh, gosh. I'm helping you. What am I, a lady? Hello,
Okay,
people.
and John, the amazing, marvelous, and not single, sorry ladies, John Eddy will be moderating today.
John Eddy. Morning, everybody. Hey. Hey, guys. Good morning. Good morning. Fancy seeing you all here.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Good morning. Hey, guys. Welcome to the 50th anniversary of Star Trek Panel. So excited to have three incredible guests from 3 of the 5 live-action Star Trek series over the 50 years of Trek from 1966 all the way until right now, 2016. A new Star Trek series on the horizon. We've got a new movie coming out. There's so much happening in the Trek world, and you guys have been part of so much of it. And we've talked a lot over the last couple of days about some of that history, and some of you guys may have heard it during various radio interviews or if you were at opening ceremonies last night, but we have an hour here to delve a little bit deeper into that, and we want to have some of your questions as well that you want to be able to ask Anthony, Garrett, and Nicole as well about the series that they were on and their experiences bringing Gene Roddenberry's vision to life. So we'll get to that. Devin, who's our assistant here, will be out with you with a microphone for any of those of you who have questions. But I guess say, who wants to be first with a question? Anybody? You want to raise hands? It's totally Garrett. So, ladies and gentlemen, Garrett Wong. Garrett Wong. So, Garrett, I know that you got the role pretty early in your career as Harry Kim. What did it mean to you to get such an iconic role early in your career?
Hello.
There's a click.
There you go.
Hello.
There you go.
Oh, that's how that works. Yeah, I mean, it happened. I think Star Trek was my 32nd audition in my career as an actor, so it came fairly quickly. And I would have to say that was a godsend at the time. I had fought my parents for 5 years on my decision to become an actor. They didn't support it at all. Finally, after 5 years of fighting, my parents said, okay, we're at a family reunion, and there are a couple of more progressive aunties that were there that said, you should just let him live his dream and follow what he wants to do and support him. So my parents said, so what do you need? What kind of support do you need? I said, well, I probably need a couple years of room and board and acting class money, this and that, or whatever to take care of stuff. Because I noticed a lot of my friends that were actors, they spent all their time working at 5 different restaurants to make ends meet, so they had no time to audition. So I said, all right, I need about 2 years of help. And I thought they would give me 1 year and we, kind of barter around. But they gave me 2 years, and at that time, when I auditioned for Voyager, it was at about the halfway point, about a year into that 2-year contract with my parents. So when I booked that, I was so excited because I could start writing checks back to my parents, so they've been supporting me that whole time, and that was that's just one of the most amazing things for at least for me to know that I could show them, like, look, I did it. Because when I first told my mom that I wasn't going to medical school like every other Asian person in the world, and she said, well, what are you going to do? You're going to go to law school? I said, no. Oh, you're going to go get your MBA, right? You're going to go to business school? No. What are you going to do? I said, I think I'm going to go into acting. She dropped the phone. She picked it back up and she goes, okay, that's not funny. I said, well, I'm not making a joke. You named one Chinese man who's made it in Hollywood. And I said, Bruce Lee. Without skipping a beat, she said, he's dead, pick another. I had no response to that. There was nobody else. I mean, you talk, oh, what about Jet Li and he came later, and then same thing with Jackie Chan. Those guys are already established stars in Asia, but they still hadn't come over to the U.S., really. They hadn't shot Rush Hour yet,
I was thinking they can also kick butt and you can't. I didn't want to get into that.
Right here, the new Rush Hour, right here. I like that. Okay, so, just getting that job. Wow, that was fun. Okay, anyway, yeah, so, my mom was very worried. She was concerned, like all parents are concerned about their children. They want their children to be successful. None of you want your kids to be poor and eating top ramen for the rest of their lives. You want them to make their way in the world. So my mom was concerned, basically. So the minute I booked Star Trek, it was just so, like a big, huge weight was lifted off my shoulder. I was just so happy. So it was a good thing that it happened so early in my career. Yeah.
Bruce Lee, everybody, Bruce Lee. Nicole, you joined a series that was already well underway. I mean, 6 seasons of DS9 that happened, and you took over an iconic character, and you'd already done some stuff at that point. I mean, you'd done Cube, you'd really been, you'd been rocking and rolling, and then you take over a role like Dax, and 1 season to flush that character out. Can you describe that for everybody?
Yeah, it was a great opportunity, obviously, and I had been working a lot before that in Toronto, where I'm from, and done a few series, some Canadian and a couple American. And one of them that I did was called Beyond Reality, which was made by Hans Beimler, and Richard Manning, who were writers, producers on Next Generation. And they took a break from Next Gen to work on Hans's baby, his own project, and they filmed it up in Toronto, and I ended up on that, along with an actor named David Hewlett, who you might also know. And it was with Sherry Belafonte and this Canadian guy, Carl Marat, and it was a paranormal show. It was about these people who investigated paranormal things, and I was her assistant. And it lasted 2 years, and at the wrap party, Hans said to me, well, I'm going to go back to Star Trek, but Nikki, I'm going to make you an alien one day. And I said, oh my God, Star Trek, that would be amazing. I would love that. I watched Star Trek, with my dad. I watched the originals in reruns, and I would love that. But it's a wrap party, people are drinking, and people say stuff, and you think, oh, that's nice, but I think I'm never going to hear from them again. And then cut to like 5-6 years later, I'm working on a show in East Coast of Canada, and my manager calls from LA and says, Hans Beimler called and asked if you would audition for this new role on Deep Space Nine. What? Oh my God, here's the call. This is crazy. So I put myself on tape there, back when you still put yourself on tape and like sent it in the mail and stuff. Oh my God, yeah.
The Dark Ages.
The Dark Ages. And I did the scene all by myself because I had nobody to really do it with, so it was a Quark and Esri scene, and I loved it right away, and I got it right away. I was like, I love this character, Esri, I could totally see me playing this. I had no one else to read the Quark lines, so I just heard them in my head and did the Esri lines and mailed it off, and I thought, oh, I don't know. And then sure enough, I got the call from LA, and they flew me down, and I mean, they saw I don't know, I heard they saw 200 people for the role or something like that, but I came in for my big callback, and on that day, it was like the absolute worst thing that I could see. I was on the Paramount lot, which is amazing. I got flown in, put up at this nice hotel, and brought into the Paramount lot, and I was going to read for Rick Berman and Ira Bear. And this van pulls up, it's about lunchtime, and this van pulls up in front of me, and out of the door comes like this gorgeous leg, like in a bodysuit. And it was Jerry Ryan, all done up. Full on 7 of 9 outfit. And I'm standing there like just doing my lines, Quark, it's me. And I saw her and I was like, holy crap. That's what they want. I'm not gonna get this far, who am I kidding? And then just then the door opened and they're like, Nicole, we're ready to have you in now. I was like, oh my God. And I went in and I was freaking out. I was so nervous all of a sudden, and they brought me into the room, and right as I came in the door, they said, would you like some water? And I said, said, that would be great. I could really use some water. So they gave me the water, and they opened the door, and Rick and Ira were sitting there, just the two of them in these two chairs, and it was just a big open room. And that was very...
No, those two are
right?
very stiff
and I come in with my little bottle of water, and I had to chug some right as I go in, and then when the water like goes down the wrong pipe, right as I'm walking in. And I like sprayed water in my nose, and like I coughed all over them basically. And Rick goes, "Do you need a washroom?" And he's like, "It's right there." So I basically walked in one door, walked past him, and walked in the other door, and shut the door. And my mascara was running down my face, and it was like horrible. It was so horrible, and I wanted to cry, and I wish there was a window in the bathroom so I could like jump out of it right then. But I pulled myself together, and I realized like if they wanted, that, they would have asked for that. I'm not that. So Ezri was not that. Ezri's gonna be somebody else. And stuff happens. You gotta suck it up, own it, use it. So I decided to pull myself together and go out there, and I did the audition. And Rick said, "You're a very good actress, Nicole. Now, go outside and wait, please." That was it. And they sent me home back to my hotel, and later on that day they called and said that I got the part.
Yeah, I just like the sound effects for Jerry Ryan's feet.
Well, I'd assume that's what she actually sounds like walking around.
But coming on was super easy because it was just like they'd already been doing it for so many years, and it was like bringing one into the fold, bringing me into the family. And I had one scene slowly with each person, so it was like, as Ezri was saying hi to each person, Nicole was sort of coming into it.
Well, it played like that. It played like family, and Ezri became part of the cast so easily.
Very easily. It felt really, really good, really organic.
So it seemed. So I know that we appreciate the character and the work done on that in season 7. In the last season of the show, it didn't seem weird to have a new character like that. It felt pretty normal and actually added something very cool in the last season of the show.
So. I hope so. I mean, she was different. She was a lighter. Yeah. It brought some levity to a very dark show, which is what I loved about the show. It was different from all the rest.
Just trying to picture Picard space sick.
Yeah, so that job was good.
Well, I've got a 2-part question for you, Anthony. I've been waiting to ask this one. Is number 1, how much do you hate Faith of the Heart? And number 2, will you sing Faith of the Heart?
In reverse order, no. And I love that song.
Oh.
I absolutely love our song. And for all of you, including John, who have been holding on to this resentment
Who's
because
a
they
hater?
don't use words in Star Trek. Yes, they do. The original series had words,
true.
and they left the words out.
It's true.
Since ours was a departure from everything that you guys had already known, we were supposed to be the setup for that. To me, it just made sense. And when you think about what they were saying, it's been a long road getting from there. All the stuff that they talked about, it just made sense. So for us, I loved it.
Well, you lead into my actual question now that we've gotten the joking out of the way. So you had this weird mantle in 2001. So you go into September 2001, you had TNG ends in 1994.
Okay.
DS9 had already started in 93. Voyager gets started in 95. There is overlap like crazy in the 90s with Star Trek. Mm-hmm. When Voyager gets home in 2001, in May, that's the end of it. And all of us are waiting. And there's no Star Trek on air until September. And Enterprise is left alone to start it out for all of us.
Right.
So it's like you were saying, it's a departure from the rest. What was that like to be really alone as Star Trek again to start it out for everyone?
Well, for me, I didn't follow everything that he just tracked. You guys knew about.
Everybody follow me there?
Everybody knows exactly what he was talking about. Yeah. I didn't, because I grew up on the original series, but I was not a Trekkie in any sense of the word. I could not tell you one thing that happened. I never even saw an episode of Deep Space Nine. I only started watching Voyager because I got on the show and Garrett was actually one of the, I think it was either Garrett or Tim. I think Garrett was the very first person that I had met from Voyager. Cool as hell, and I was like, I like that guy. Okay, he's a part of I'm a part of his family, not he's a part of mine. I'm a part of his family now, so I'm gonna watch his show. And then I met Tim Russ, so I watched a lot of the Voyager shows because I actually had a connection with the people, not because it was Star Trek. So there, for me, it didn't feel like, oh, what are we doing? This is the maiden voyage. I was a broke actor, and it was just exciting for me to go get an audition and to be able to call and tell my family that I booked a job. Much like, I don't know how your parents were, but much like Garrett's family, my dad wasn't in my life, but when I told my mom I was going to act, she said, okay, so what are you going to do to take care of yourself? And this is when I was still in college when I told her that. I've got a degree in performance theater and drama, so I'm actually doing what I'm supposed to do. This is my lot in life, is to make this world better through the gift that I was blessed with. But I didn't know it was going to be that. I'm from Indianapolis, Indiana. I moved out to LA and told my family I'm going to make it in this industry, and I'm not going to embarrass my family. Now, I did do 2 movies that did embarrass me, so I know it embarrassed them. Let's not get into that, because then I do. Yes, and Leprechaun in the Hood was one of them. But I was broke as hell.
It's a great movie.
Sorry,
It's a great movie.
Hey, you know, I was like, whatever, man. It was, yeah. Like, literally, there were days that I didn't eat. So when they talk about paying your dues in Hollywood, I did that. We grew up impoverished. So I knew what that was when I got my audition. And if you guys have been to any of the cons, I've told this before, but I don't know you guys in Colorado Springs, so I'll tell you now. So I was completely broke, and I went in for, it was an untitled Star Trek series. And UPN was, the now defunct UPN was still the network, but they weren't specific if it was going to go there or they were going to do something else with it. I think they were starting to flirt with, well, is that going to be the right home for it? So it was just an untitled Star Trek show. Anthony, they've been looking for this guy. I was told they had looked, and they had literally high and low, Canada, everywhere around the US, and they couldn't find him. Are you interested? And I'm like, yeah, I just want a chance to work, sure, whatever. I go in and I met, Ron Surma. Ron Surma was the casting director. I had actually gone in for Voyager before. I auditioned for Voyager twice. Yes, I auditioned for you guys, and...
For which characters?
One was a transmission of Tuvok's son, if you guys remember that. So the very first time I went, I don't remember the character, but then that started the relationship with Ron Surma. So he remembers me, brings me back for this transmission as Tuvok's son. And I said, well, what, again, not being a Trekkie, so what does that mean, a transmission? Like, is this audio? Like, what are we talking about? He said, well, you won't physically be on set. You're just going to be on the screen. I was like, well, I want to do that. But sure, it's, you know, I'm an actor. All right, sure, I'll go. I didn't get it because they said I didn't look alien enough. He says with air quotes. What? Okay, what does that mean? All right. But then they said, when Travis came around, they said, look, they've been looking high and low for this guy, and when my agent tells me about it, she said, but it's not, this is a major character. You're going to be one of the, you guys call us the command crew. You're going to be one of the major characters on it. And I was like, well, yeah, definitely, give me the stuff. I read it, and the way Travis read to me, even though he was born in space and had more space exploration than even the captain, I felt like the sense of wonder would be more fun to play instead of the perfect humans that or the perfect aliens or humans that these guys were. I wanted to make him have this wonder about him whenever they were going into these adventures instead of, Captain, yes, there's another meteor shower. What would you like me to do? I wanted to actually have it be fun because I have this youthful exuberance myself. I'm curious about everything, and I wanted to bring that to him. I do that, And I was blessed to do a kids adventure show. You guys, some of you guys, if you have kids, may or may not have seen it. It was called Awesome Adventures. And they took me around the world and had me do all kinds of incredible things. I went spelunking in London. I ran up a volcano in Iceland. That was probably one of the most fun jobs I've ever had. So when I get the initial audition, I go in, meet Ron, and he said, "Oh, Anthony, that was great. I want to bring you back and have you meet Jim Conway, who directed Broken Bow, our first episode, and Rick Berman." And I said, "Okay, this is my first experience to Rick." Go in, meet those guys, and Rick is very serious about everything. Rick actually has a really funny sense of humor. It's just dry, and you have to get to know him first. I was nervous as heck. Sorry, there's babies in here.
Kicks in.
Yeah, I was like, just because I didn't know, everybody knows what Star Trek is. Even if you didn't watch DS9 or Voyager, everybody in the world on this planet knows what this franchise is. So I went, oh wow, this is the guy that actually worked from and inherited this franchise from the guy that created it? Oh damn. So it was one of those, like, okay, well, you're either going to get it or you're not. So just go in and do your best. I then left and went to Northern California to do Awesome Adventures. And while I was gone, they said, well, Anthony, they loved you. They want to do a test deal for you. So I was gone for 6 days on the show. I come back, everything is set up. I go for my test day. But because they weren't sure if it was going to be UPN, they only had me test for the studio, so I only had to test for Paramount. Typically, you would have to test for Paramount, and then you would have to go over and do a different test for the network that it's going to be on. I only had to do it once. Again, my very first test, had never experienced this. Very daunting. A row of chairs, men and women in suits and dresses lined up, and they're pleasant, but it's still, I'm a kid from Indiana, so I'm like, what the hell am I in the middle of? Okay, this is gonna be fun.
Asian double hockey sticks.
Man, yes. So I just so I go in and I say, you know what, just focus on the casting director. So just like I'm looking at you, I saw everybody there, but there was nobody there but he and I go in. Oh, well, this is Rick's sense of humor. As we're walking to it, it's Rick flanking me on one side and Brandon on the other side. Brandon Braga, our two creators. Just the two of us. I'm thinking there are going to be other people that are coming back for the test. It's just us. Rick says, see, you're the only one, right? Don't screw this up. Never cracks a smile. I look over and I'm like, oh, he's serious. And I look over at Brandon never says a word, and I'm like, oh, okay, no, I'm not nervous now. Go in, and I actually messed up in the audition. I was ready for the scene. Everything was good. I didn't have my water moment. But I mean, everything is still there. So I go in, and I messed up a line, and then I just stopped, recomposed myself, reconnected with the reader, and we finished the scene. I got up and I said, thank you guys, have a great day. I left, went to my agent, who was about 10 minutes away from there, and I was auditioning for a B movie. This was actually probably a D movie script. It was so bad. I'm reading it. It was worse than Soul Plane.
Oh God! Don't say words you can't take back, dude.
No, I won't take that back. No, because when I got the script for Soul Plane, they were like, it's gonna be airplane. It's gonna be an urban airplane. Now I loved the movie Airplane. Fantastic. I was like, oh, you're doing something like that. I read the first page of the script and I was like, a purple plane with gold Daytons? I'm not going in for this. What are you talking? That's not me. That's not even my wheelhouse. So I'm at my agent's office and I'm reading this really bad, low-budget feature script, and she gets a phone call, and Karen Foreman, and as I'm reading it, I was like, oh God, Karen. Anthony, you're broke. Shut up. Read the script and find something to connect with in this character. And she says, I'm sorry, can you repeat that? and she put it on speaker, and they said, yes, we're calling to let you know that we are doing a pickup for Anthony Montgomery, who just booked the role of Ensign Travis Mayweather. And I threw that script in the air and screamed like a little girl. Karen was like, oh my God, Anthony, congratulations. So we had our hugs, and then I left there and I sat in my car and I said, oh my God. I called my mother and I was like, Mama, we got a job. Yes, baby, we gonna work. She said, what happened? What happened? What did you do? And I said, I got a Star Trek job. And she said, boy, shut up. No, you didn't. And I said, yes, I did. I don't know when it's gonna come on, but I start shooting. I think we started shooting in like literally maybe 2-3 weeks or something. It was, and I said, so everything has changed, and it did. I've been very blessed, and I truly, all joking aside, I truly appreciate you guys, because you guys did this. All we did was go audition. That's it. We just wanted a job. And because you guys love this so much, this world so much, and everything about it, we will be a part of the global lexicon for the duration and long after we're all plant food. So I truly just say thank you, because you guys changed my life. So thank you.
The first day I arrived on set to work, I went into my trailer, the room that they'd given me, and there was already 2 giant garbage bags. And I was like, what is this? And they said, it's fan mail. Fan mail? I haven't shot a single scene yet. Fan mail. And you know, the word had gotten out that my casting, and I already had 2 full garbage bags of fan mail. And I started opening one, and it was like, welcome to the Star Trek world, Nicole. We're sure you're gonna love it. It's gonna be great. Well, and the next one was welcome. And it was so beautiful. And I also went, whoa.
Yeah, that was the other one. Yeah, because you're like, oh, whoa, snap! This is what I'm in the middle of.
Amazing.
Now, so people had told me, they warned me about you Trekkies before I got the job. Like, I said, yeah, I just booked a Star Trek job. And they said, oh my God, well, what about the Trekkies? Aren't you scared of them? No, like literally not at all. There is a reverence that you guys have for Gene Roddenberry and for all things Star Trek that I have not seen in any fandom in the world. It is the most pure, the most honest profession of love that I've ever seen. So all the people that tried to warn me about everybody, I said, have you ever gone to a convention? Literally. And they go, well, no. Have you ever actually talked to one of the Trekkies? Well, no. Well then, how do you know? You're just going on what everybody else has said. William Shatner's Get a Life and all that. I was like, no man, you meet these guys. There were a couple of dudes in Germany at one of Garrett's old hosting gigs that almost caught a case when they approached me. But for the most part, everybody has been so embracing and just, hi, Anthony, like there's literally this reference, and I just go, hey, how you doing? I put my pants on just like you. How you doing? Give me a hug.
No, it's an amazing gift. I mean, we traveled the world for years and years and years now, and who else? You get to meet your fans up close, and it's wonderful. It's beautiful. Travel the world, meeting Star Trek fans all over the world. Such a gift. I love it. It's wonderful.
My first convention was actually Voyager premiered in January of 1995 on a Monday, and that Saturday after that premiere was my first convention. It was in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and I remember the convention company called me up and said, listen, Kate Mulgrew is our guest, but she called in sick. So would you mind replacing her? I said, okay. I said, so what is this? They said, this is a Star Trek convention, and we're going to fly you out to Minneapolis, blah, 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 blah. So I get there, and it comes about time for me to have my panel, my Q&A. And so they told me, just stay in your hotel room. I was there with my girlfriend at the time and my manager. So we're sitting there waiting for their head of security to come get me. So he comes and knocks on the door, and now January in Minnesota is not a warm time of the year. So the hotel where we're staying in the convention center, where there's a little bit of a distance, but you would go through these little plus 15 walkways to get over there. So you stayed inside. So we get a knock on the door, and this 6'5" guy standing there in a suit with a little wire, like he's CIA, right? I mean, going down. You can hear he's got a microphone on, basically, and he's talking to other people. But he knocks on the door. We answer, and he says, "Yes, my name is Keith Ortiz, and I'm the head of security for the convention. I'm here to escort you to your panel." I'm like, "Oh, okay, great." So we start walking along. Then he starts talking. He's like, "Eagle 1 to base, come in."
Yeah, this is base. Go ahead, Eagle 1.
Yes, I have the package. We are en route. Eagle 1 to Eagle 2.
Copy that. Eagle 2 here.
You have eyes on me.
We have eyes on you.
Where are the eyes? Where are the eyes? He goes on. He talks to Eagle 1 talks to Eagle 2, Eagle 3, and base. Just the whole. We're walking. 10 minutes go by. We're walking. We're now standing outside the doors, the double doors that go into the actual panel where all the fans are sitting. And at that point, I look at Keith Ortiz. I say, "So Keith, so what exactly? How long is this panel? Is it like 10 minutes or 15 minutes?" And he goes, "You will be inside answering questions for approximately 1 hour." And I said, "What? Well, then I've got to go to the bathroom." At this point, when we were outside the door, he said, "I have the package outside. We are ready to go. We are a go." Then I asked that question. He tells me it's an hour. He says, "And you're gonna, and I said, "Oh, I gotta go to the bathroom." And he goes, "No, you may not." I said, "What?" I go, "Yes, So I started running, right? So he starts running after me. He's like, "Eagle 1 to base, abort, abort." Follows me into the bathroom. So now I'm in the bathroom. I'm at the urinal, okay?
Wait, he's not in the bathroom with you?
Yes.
He's killing me right now.
He's standing next to me.
For the record, guys, don't ever come up to me and talk to me in the bathroom. Guys have done that at the convention. No, we're still men. Talk to me outside there.
So let me just recreate this for you and everyone here. So I'm sitting here at the urinal like this, and I'm looking at Mr. Ortiz next to me right there. And he's just standing there. He's saying, No, I did not look at it." So I'm thinking like, would you like to help me shake or anything? I don't know. We finish, so we walk back out. We come back around, and we're outside.
We finish?
You heard we, right? Just
Oh, in the words of George the King. Oh my. I finished. He follows me back out, and he goes, "Mr. Wong is finished urinating." We come back around. We're waiting outside the doors. He goes, "I have the package. We are now a go. We are definitely a go now." And then you hear inside the NC, like Mr. John Eddy, going, "And please, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Ensign Harry Kim, Garrett Wong, Star Trek Voyager." They open up the doors. Voyager premiered 1 episode already. That's it. No one's seen anything but the pilot. I come in, and I look, and I go, "Oh!" There are over 5,000 people in that room. 5,000! The end of the room, the people were like ants. And I walked in there, and I remember when you're really nervous and your body starts shaking uncontrollably? That's what happened. I started walking up, I go, "Oh!" I went, I think I need to go to the bathroom again. I get up there, and I started thinking one thing. I said, I could either take the fear and try to squish it down, which never works. If you're nervous, if you try to ignore it or push it away, you get even more nervous. Or I'm going to acknowledge this fear in front of these 5,000 people. They're going to know that. So I said, I'll pick that route. So I sat there, I went, "Whoa. Oh my God. Okay, just want to say I'm really nervous. I didn't expect there to be the population of a small African nation to be in this room right now."
Be an African nation.
Fine!
Be an African nation. I'm just
I did
asking.
not expect this to be the population of a small Southeast Asian nation. Is that better?
Let's just call it Luxembourg. I've been to China. Y'all don't have small populations.
This is the kind of this is the repartee that goes on between myself and Anthony
Well, we
Montgomery
do.
all the time.
Oh, by the way, he and I are going to be in a sci-fi movie together. Garrett's going to play the captain, and I'm his first officer. Just so that you guys know, it's going to be a lot of fun. Keep going with your story.
Wow.
And we'll get Nicole in it too because he's the captain, so they get to say stuff like that. Hey, we want Nicole in our show.
Yeah, for sure.
Ooh, you could be our 7 of 9. You go, boom. You can walk in like that. Would you like that?
That sounds good.
Okay. Wait. But you may not be alien enough. Alien looking enough for something. Just kidding.
Right.
Oh my God.
Alien.
Yeah, you were an alien. That's true. You just had a little. Oh, this is how we first met. This is very funny. We were.
Oh yeah.
Oh, so they had that. Anyone?
We're gonna give you guys questions.
Yeah,
But we told him we didn't really need him.
I'm just standing here like, they're just gonna go, man. This is a train that's lost its brakes.
No,
It's pretty good, isn't it?
we can do this. We've done this at least once or twice.
We put 3 actors up on the stage
Come on, especially that are not nervous about this. Have you MC'd as well?
I didn't MC, but
He's actually MC'd and so have I. So this is fun. I was like, John, you can hang out with us. Sure, get a chair. Bring this guy up. But we want to get some questions from you guys. You tell this story, but they only have like 20 minutes. So
Just real briefly. Anyone been to Star Trek Experience in Las Vegas before it closed down? Oh, most people.
Oh, wow. Nice.
So when they actually opened it up, the grand opening, they invited all the Star Trek actors, and they told us meet in LA at the Van Nuys Airport. That we have a jet that we're gonna have you guys.
So awesome.
It was so cool. So you bring one guest.
Wait, they took you out in a jet?
Yeah. I'm sorry. Don't.
Enterprise, the step kids. Never took us on the darn jet. Man, I'm getting jealous all over again.
So it was just, anyway. So
It was just a small jet.
it was just a small jet.
It was a small one. It wasn't even a big limo. It was a small.
It was made out of Lego. Don't worry about it. So we get on this nice plane they chartered for us, and we could all bring one guest. And I brought my buddy Andrew, an old college friend of mine. So I plopped down in my seat, and then Nicole she brought her stand-in on the show, and she plops down the seat in front. So my buddy starts talking to her friend, and I start talking to Nicole. And we're, you're the new Deep Space Nine character. Congratulations, whatever. So then we get off the plane, and then they have a red carpet where they're taking all these pictures of all the people coming in, and then we're standing next to each other.
It's alright, man. We can hang out. Come on. It's good. It's good. It's good.
It's a horse.
They go do their thing. Don't worry about it.
And then each photographer was like, "You guys get together. We're gonna take a picture of you together," so that everyone thought we were dating. That was like, so we're like, we just met 5 seconds ago. We're like, sure. Hey, what's up? And they were like, "Oh my God, how long have you guys been together?" I'm like, "What? 30 seconds? Like half an hour? The flight over here?" So that's how I met her.
That was fun. Sorry about that.
All right, let's open it up.
Yeah, let's see. Who's got a question here?